Hey all you cool cats and kittens.
Hey guys and welcome back. I missed you all so much. Today's topic of conversation is Destruction All-Stars, a game released this month and straight off the bat is a free to download game for PlayStation Plus members. To save some of you some time for who this may affect, this is a game that is only available for PlayStation 5. Just in case you thought that you could get this on the PS4, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. But anywho, let's jump straight in. Destruction All-Stars is a vehicle combat game developed by Lucid Games, who, for the most part, have dabbled in a lot of mobile games and have helped out with Goat Simulator and then Need for Speed Payback. So this is kind of their big debut onto consoles as a sole developer. It's, bluntly put, this mix of Rocket League, Burnout and Twisted Metal, leaning more towards the latter, I'd say. If you've played any of these franchises, this is going to look pretty familiar. You choose from 16 characters to throw yourself into a large deathmatch arena with the goal of smashing into other opponents and coming out on top. They add a bit of complexity into the genre by giving you the ability to jump out of your cars and hijack other players or to even find unused cars lying around the map. It's super hectic and pretty good fun. The core mechanics of this game are really well polished. Driving around feels responsive and fun, and the 16 characters are unique and interesting, and the overall presentation feels very slick for the most part. The hiccups for me come into the depth of the game more than anything else. The game is primarily split up into online matchmaking mode and single player challenge mode. Online mode has you select between these 4 different game types. Mayhem, which is your typical free-for-all derby destruction that we've all come here for, let's be honest. Gridfall, a last man standing style game on a map which is continuously shrinking and falling apart. Carnado, an 8v8 team mode with the goal of hitting enemies for points and then storing these points into a centralised area. And Stockpile, which is kind of the same thing as the previous mode. And I'll be honest, the only interesting ones here are the first 2 options. I tried out the team modes wanting to like them, however, at the end of the day I found myself always wanting to go back to the original Mayhem mode, which to me was just the most fun by a long shot. Online felt pretty responsive and I had very few issues with lag or match finding, with it being pretty quick to find me a match no matter what mode I chose. Competing has you earn experience points, which allows you to level up, unlocking profile cosmetics and currency to spend on other character customization options. This is all stuff I'm pretty sure you've seen elsewhere and it's nothing new here. Each character comes with their own hero car, which allows you to release a special move in-game, and each person has a unique ability to show off. There's one who unleashes an EMP burst, another who gets out buzzsaws to tear down opponents, and one that lets off fireworks which damages cars around him. For the most part, they're pretty well thought out, at least character design wise, but gameplay wise, it's clear after a few games that there's objectively some better characters than others. Most of your games are going to be littered with this dude that has this one-shot ability where if he touches you with his buzzsaws, you're instantly going to die. It definitely does need some work done on its balancing. Giving us the ability to jump out of our cars, though, is a really nice touch. You can wall run, jump, and springboard off other cars that you're driving in order to create some fluid and fast gameplay options. Hijacking an enemy's car always feels pretty satisfying, and when you string that with then ejecting out of that car, hopping straight into a new one, and jumping back into the fray in seconds, it's so satisfying. The commands are fairly forgiving and does well to complement the driving gameplay. There are a handful of times I found where there's just no cars near you, and you're essentially just stuck plodding along, trying to avoid these high-speed cars, desperate to find anything to drive, which does slow down the gameplay massively, but for the most part, there's always something available to choose from. Character customization does feel pretty lacking though. You've got 4 or 5 colour variants, some new poses, and that's kind of it. I didn't really feel any interest in trying to unlock new items for characters, which I think in turn hinders the drive a player would have, no pun intended by the way, to compete more and sink more time into this. There's also a sour taste of microtransactions, but it feels kind of irrelevant in this case as none of the payable add-ons are of any interest or value. I can't see many people being tempted to spend actual money on this, but it shouldn't be here regardless, especially when they start selling this game at full value price. And that's the online bit of the game, which is essentially your meat and potatoes. And then you've got challenge mode, which has you play short stories for certain characters, completing time trials, duels, and in order to, well, complete them, I guess. It's pretty simple, and for the most part, it's also pretty boring. The time trials are slow, and the rewards for completing these story missions are essentially just new poses and quotes. It's not worth doing, to be honest, and there are some cutscenes here and there, but as a whole, the mode is trash, and I'd steer away from it. No pun intended. My other gripe with the game comes from the music. And God, it gets very annoying quickly, and it will drive you mad. Pun intended. You know what? I lied. All these puns have been intended. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Although, I'll give them credit for doing something unique with it, which I haven't really seen elsewhere. When selecting a character, the music will alter slightly to match the style of the character you hover over, going from hip-hop to jive to lo-fi and so on. It's a really cool idea, but if I had to choose between having this or just more music to listen to in the lobby in general, I'd still go for the latter any day. And you know what? Despite all that I've said up until now, the game is still so much fun. I can't help but like it. It's got its own charm, polished enough core gameplay to have me still entertained for snippets of time here and there. The game is currently free for PlayStation Network Plus members for this month and next, but after that it will be available at the full retail price of roughly £60. This game is 100% not worth that sort of price tag. And being spiritually similar to a game like Rocket League, which is now permanently free but beforehand was only 15 quid, this makes it laughable. But with a low price tag of, let's say, 20 quid, maybe 30, I would say it's a recommendation to pick up. Whilst it's free on PSN, I'd say it's definitely worth giving it a go and seeing if you like it. I'm also hoping they release some free content in the future to keep this game fresh and lively. Some more characters or levels would be great. Otherwise, I'm not so sure about the longevity of this game, but we'll just have to wait and see. And that's it from me here today, guys. Thanks a bunch for listening. You're the best. And let me know if you've played Destruction All-Stars on PS5, if you have a PS5 that is, and what your thoughts on it are. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews on movies, anime, and video games. Until next time, guys, take care. Bye-bye.